What's really going on behind the camera? Why did HYB choose to be silent when two BTS members actually said a sentence that broke the hearts of millions of ARMY? Is it because of taehyung? Dan, what sentence was so painful that Jimin and Jungkook couldn't hold back the tears behind the stage? Jungkook and Jimin finally reveal the secret phrase that broke my heart. HYB, shut up. Taehyung is the cause. How do you feel when someone you love quietly, slowly changes before your eyes, but no one wants to talk about it? What are you going to do when two figures who had seemed unshakable suddenly say something that makes the world seem to stop spinning? And more than that, what will you think when they say a sentence that has been kept silent, a sentence that turns out to be not only heartbreaking for them, but also for the entire ARMY in the world? That night, there was no cheering, no applause, just silence and tears. Jungkook stood sculpting, while Jimin stared at the floor wordlessly. A camera that was accidentally still on recorded everything. But somehow, the video was never released, never talked about. Until now, it has never been confirmed by anyone, even by HYB. The question, why is HYB hiding something? Are the sentences spoken by Jungkook and Jimin too dangerous for the public to know? Or does this have anything to do with taehyung? It all started with one simple incident, one that was supposed to be meaningless. But who would have thought, from a light conversation, infiltrate the old wounds that have never been fully healed? A few weeks before the incident, rumors began circulating that the relationship between the three, taehyung, Jungkook, and Jimin, was starting to fray. But as usual, HYB silenced him with one short sentence. No problem. But is there really nothing? In a rehearsal for BTS's private content, which was done behind closed doors and only shown to internal staff, Jimin was seen pulling away. Jungkook, who is known as a figure who always unites members, appears to be silent more often. And taehyung? It seems to be the center of an unspoken tension. He was present but not really with them. His smile felt hollow, his gaze occasionally sweeping the room as if searching for something missing. And when the camera turns on, everything returns to normal, as if nothing is wrong. But we know better. We know that no heart can lie to its own vibration, until finally that day came. A special interview that was supposed to celebrate their journey as the strongest trio in BTS, an unofficial unit known for having incredible chemistry, suddenly turned into an unexpectedly emotional confessional. And that's when the word came out. Sometimes, silence hurts more than screaming, Jungkook said, his voice trembling. And I waited for someone to say, I still care, but it never came. Jimin looked up, his eyes glazed. He tried to smile, but what came out was a long sigh that resembled a cry that had been held for too long. I think we will be forever as before. But it turned out, time waits for no one. That sentence, two simple but very deep sentences, made the room freeze. Even the staff was silent. And from behind the glass, HYB's manager, who witnessed all of that, immediately signaled to turn off the camera. But it's too late. A technician accidentally saves a copy of the footage before the camera goes completely out, and this is where the biggest question arises. Why do they say that? Who exactly is the sentence intended for? And where was taehyung? Many believe the sentences are a reflection of their fractured relationship. But others speculate that the utterance was a coded form, a secret message that could only be understood by someone who is not present in the room. Yes, taehyung that we all know, the bond between Jimin, Jungkook, and taehyung is one of the most beautiful in BTS. They shared laughter, tears, struggles, and dreams. But sometimes, closeness that is too deep can turn into the most painful wound when not handled properly. In recent occasions, the ARMY has begun to note small clues that indicate friction between them. From blank stares during live, body tension in interviews, to words that seem accidentally thrown. All as if putting together a puzzle of a story that they do not want to tell. And now, when two of the three figures finally utter a sentence that breaks many hearts, the next question arises. Is this the end for them? Is the friendship that we have been so proud of beginning to collapse from within? HYB, with all her might, chose silence. No clarification. No explanation. Even when the hashtag Protect Jungkook Jimin was trending for days, not a single official statement was issued. Why? Is it because the truth is too hard to tell? Or are they waiting for the right time? Or too afraid to face the public's reaction? What is clear? This silence speaks louder than words. And the army knew something wasn't right. Back in the evening, after the cameras were turned off, Jimin reportedly cried for quite a while in the locker room. Jungkook, who would normally be a tranquilizer, sat on the floor silently. Some eyewitnesses from the staff said the atmosphere was so tense that no one dared to enter for quite a long time. Then, slowly, only one name came from Jimin's lips at that moment. Tae? Is that a sign of longing? Or wound? One thing is certain, something has happened. And until the truth is revealed, Army can only wait while trying to understand the pieces of events that continue to hang without answers. That sentence, now living at the head of millions of Army. Sometimes silence hurts more than screaming. I think we will be forever as we used to be. And with that, the biggest question now hangs in the air. Is it because taehyung, they ended up saying a sentence that broke our hearts? But behind all this, there is one fact that really catches your breath. A short 47-second video that suddenly appeared in the closed fanbase community of Weverse Japan. The video only ran for 3 hours before being completely removed without a trace. But as you can guess, the army has moved quickly. The footage was recorded by several fans who did not have time to spread it widely because part of their accounts actually experienced a mysterious blocking by HYB's automated system before they even had time to re-upload them on Twitter or TikTok. Only one location. Backstage. Dim lighting. Mobile camera swayed. But the clearly audible sound immediately gives goosebumps. If you really want to leave, please tell me the real reason. It sounded like Taehyung's. And only a few seconds after that, Jungkook's voice was heard, slow, but very heavy. I can't talk now. They heard everything. Who is they Jungkook referring to? Why hide the reason? And why was HYB so quick to take down the video when it wasn't the official video? If it was just a small tension between members, why was the response so sharp? At this time, the army began to put together this huge puzzle on its own. Old posts are starting to come back. One of the fans discovered that on the last day of rehearsals before Jungkook went abroad, Taehyung's personal Instagram account suddenly changed the caption of his last photo to a 3-pointed symbol, without explanation. As if that wasn't the end. As if it was just the beginning of something unfinished. And then, there's a small detail that got away with it. The friendship bracelet they've both been wearing since 2021. It disappeared from Jungkook's hand at the airport. He usually never gets away with it. Even when performing at international concerts, he always wears it, even if it is covered with a costume. But that day, there was nothing on his wrist. Is it a symbol of the end? Or a silent warning to someone? Meanwhile, reports from a BTS stylist mentioned that there was a sudden set change in their last photo shoot. Supposedly, the main concept featured personal interaction between members, but was suddenly changed to an individual concept with a widened shooting distance. The stylist said, "I do not know why, but at that time the production team seemed very tense. They are even prohibited from carrying personal cell phones. That's never happened before. Why should their moments of togetherness be avoided? Is this all just a marketing strategy? Or is HYB covering up a conflict in something bigger than just schedule differences?" What made it all the more confusing was the fact that after returning from a meeting with his family, Jungkook uploaded a black and white photo with no caption. In the photo, you can see only an empty chair and a pair of shoes under it. No face. No smiles. But the picture kept ARMY glued for a long time as if it were a hidden message about loss or absence that could not be explained in words. Some netizens began to compare this event to the dynamics of other K-pop groups that experience great pressure from management, where separation between members is often packaged as an individual choice, when in fact it is forced into silence. But did that happen to Jungkook and Taehyung? Or is it something much more personal? Some say that all these are just wild assumptions of overly dramatic fans. But could it be that thousands of fans from different parts of the world feel the same way just because of overthinking? Or is it precisely they who are really sensitive and able to catch invisible signals? Because honestly, nothing feels like it used to. There are no special jokes that they are used to. There is no small interaction behind the stage. Even when they were in a single frame, the expressions of both seem to be holding something back. All that remains now is silence. And perhaps that's where everything should start again, from honesty, not from a predetermined script. Will we be left hanging forever? Or one day, one of them will dare to step out of the shadows and say, "Jungkook has been more reserved these past few weeks," said a choreographer who worked with them on the secret dance practice project. Normally, he is the most excited in training. But at that moment, he wasn't even looking at anyone. Taehyung tried to get closer and start a chat, but was only answered with a short nod. The moment, according to the choreographer, felt like two separate worlds. What happened that night, when Jungkook said goodbye to meet his family, actually holds a wrenching puzzle. A security staff member claimed that Taehyung stood for a long time behind the door of the rehearsal room, looking at Jungkook from a distance. But nothing was said. No haks. There was no farewell, as usual. Just a quick glance. And then the door closed. Why was that moment never discussed by the media? Why are cameras not allowed to record deeper? Another surprising thing emerged from an anonymous message received by one of the investigative army accounts on Twitter, now X. The message included a screenshot of HYB's internal video editor log, which showed the presence of a video file titled last room_JK_V_final. However, the status of the file reads withdrawn/pending superiors. The content of the video is not explained, but many speculate that this is Jungkook and Taehyung's last piece of footage before the breakup. Taehyung wrote a short message on Weverse that was deleted in less than 2 minutes. The message simply said, "Sorry, I wanted to talk, but I can't." Is it related? Is there anything you would like to say that is prohibited by law? The message immediately sparked an explosion of comments from the army, but because the deletion was too quick, most fans relied solely on screenshots from those who had seen it. But the most heartbreaking was the confession of a Japanese fan who managed to get a personal autograph from Taehyung at a closed event. When he said, "We miss the two of you together," Taehyung simply replied softly, "Me too," then smiled lightly and turned his face away. Fans described the smile as a smile that contains wounds that cannot be said. Does HYB know all this? Are they really hiding evidence that should shed light on the real situation? Why did they choose to let the public live in conjecture? And is this really to protect their idols, or is it to save the company's image? What was even more poignant was when some of the staff mentioned that there was a very touching moment in the documentary where Taehyung sat alone looking at a photo from their debut era. When the camera caught him, he simply said, "We promised never to change," but this part never appeared in the documentary that was released. Where did that part go? Now, with more and more clues scattered around, one big question continues to loom. Was Jungkook and Taehyung's breakup a choice of the heart, or the result of an intervention? The army deserves to know the truth. Not just speculation, but facts that have been deliberately blurred. And if it is true that HYB has recordings, documents, even direct orders to limit the proximity of the two in public, then this is no longer a private matter. This has already touched the realm of narrative manipulation and could open up a huge moral debate in the world of K-pop entertainment. Imagine if this separation had never been desired by both. Imagine if their every silence was a silent scream. Imagine if every distance created was not because of a difference of heart, but because of a wall that was forced to stand by people outside them. Do you still believe what you've seen? Or are you starting to feel that something is wrong about all this? However, what makes everything even more inviting is the CCTV footage from the lobby of the HYB training building that was accidentally scattered in the Korean underground community. The 37-second video shows a rare moment. Jungkook standing alone, staring into a dark hallway, then clenching his fists and finally walking away. A few seconds later, Taehyung appeared from the opposite direction. But the two did not greet each other. No conversación. No waving of hands. Only silence hung in the air. It was as if two worlds that were once very close were now standing in parallel lines that could not come together. Netizens who saw the video footage immediately flooded the discussion forum with various questions. Why can both be in the same building but not greet each other? Was this just a coincidence, or was it deliberately arranged? And how come the video only lasted a few hours before disappearing completely from all platforms? A former staffer who once worked as a bodyguard for BTS spoke anonymously. In an interview with the independent channel, he said that there was a moment when two members were asked not to get